Oh, yeah.
We are just got to the morning break in the questioning of Roger Geffen, an environmental activist who was active in the London cycling campaign, Reclaim the Streets, Earth First, numerous other things. He's being questioned today. I mean, in theory, he's being questioned today about the infiltration of the undercover police officer, Jim Boyling. Yet we've only had one question just before we went to the break about whether Jim Boyling was at a particular meeting. We've had an hour and a half of Roger Geffen being asked if he was a violent thug or not, essentially. That seems to be in the Len Poultner, or whatever his name is. Leonard Poulsen. I'm joined by Carolyn from the Campaign Opposing Police Surveillance and Earth First and Reclaim the Streets activist. What have you made of what we've heard?
Well, it's been really interesting because this is exactly where I first got involved in activism in the in 1992. I came to London, took up, being involved in cycle campaigning and the London Cycling Campaign and the Reclaim the Streets Action Network in those early days. I actually lived for a while at the repurposed Dole office that we've heard about. And was around for a lot of the things that Roger's talking about. I was also one of the people that moved to East London deliberately to help occupy houses on the route of the M11 to stop them being demolished or stripped, ready for demolition before the road actually got built. And I was around for Operation Roadblock and some of those events we've heard about this morning. It's been interesting hearing the sort of line of questioning taken by the inquiry, and I can only assume that Leonard Poulsen is asking these quite offensive line of questioning because he has been given Rule 9 or 10 questions from Jim Boyling's lawyers or the Metropolitan Police's lawyers, and if he doesn't ask these questions, then they'll accuse him of not doing a good job.
I mean, it's not just a line of questioning as well. It's his when Roger gives fulsome answers to questions, he's being repeatedly told off for giving too long an answer.
I think that's a different issue. I think it's actually quite rude of him. I mean, Roger's under a lot of pressure here. He is the only person other than Monica from Reclaim the Streets who is being asked to give any evidence at all to this inquiry. Reclaim the Streets was a huge group, a movement that lasted for many years, involved lots and lots of people, lots of quite massive events, and Roger's been allocated half a day. That's 2.5 hours max to speak about all of this, and he's doing a really good job of trying to get across as much information as possible and answer questions fully, not just give short answers. But he's been told off multiple times now for speaking too fast. And that's just him trying to cram it in, and he's trying to give his evidence as well as he can, and I think he's doing a really good job.
He's not being repetitive.
No, and everything he's saying is relevant. It's just not in the order that Poulsen's expecting. But I used to do a lot of teacher training work, teaching people to be cycling instructors, and one thing we'd always say is the sign of a good teacher is that somebody who asks good questions to get the answers they want from the students. Poulsen's not asking very good questions, is he?
No, he's not. I mean, he's the first time we've had him as I don't want to go on about this too long, but first time I was a lawyer for the inquiry. I've just seen him anyway.
I heard he did turn up in tranche 1, somebody just said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. It must have been...
Must be one of the days we missed.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't miss any days. It may have been without... Maybe it was one of the audio-only ones we didn't see his face. But certainly, I mean, he's doing a very bad job. But aside from that, we have been taken through the Twyford Down. We've been taken through the No M11 campaign. Lots of interesting details about Claremont Road. Very little about undercover police.
Well, interestingly, that's possibly because we've only just got to 1995 November, and Jim turning up at the Reclaim the Streets meeting. Right up to that point, we don't know about any undercover police who successfully infiltrated the M11 campaign. We've heard of a few who maybe the SDS wanted to send there who didn't quite manage to infiltrate. Like Peter Francis said, he went to some M11 type party but didn't make any connections with anyone and then ended up infiltrating other groups instead. We know there's been a few other attempts by spy cops to get close to that campaign, but we haven't, as far as we know, we don't know of any spy cops being sent to Twyford Down, for example. That was outside London. At that point, the SDS was being run by the Metropolitan Police, and the NPOIU hadn't been set up yet. And what the Department of Transport actually did for Twyford Down and the protesters there was hired a private detective agency, Braze in Southampton, to spy on people and get their personal information in order to make those injunctions that we heard about. So that's what they chose to do there instead. Same as we're going to hear maybe later on today about what Thames Valley Police did for the road protest in Newbury, where again they hired a private informant rather than sending in their own spy cops.
Yeah, I mean, which is also a huge area, not within the terms of reference of the inquiry. The use of corporate spies, the use of private investigators, probably dwarfs the use of undercover police
But
officers.
interestingly, tranche 5 of the inquiry, if that ever happens, whenever that finally happens, is supposed to look at the use of undercover covert officers by other police forces that aren't the units that aren't the SDS or the NPRU. So maybe we'll hear about Thames Valley Police or Sussex Police or whoever it is, or whatever informants they were running at that point. That will be very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, as I understand it, though, that will simply relate to undercover police officers by those police forces, not informants.
Yeah, it's unclear, but I think
the terms of reference are quite limited.
But we don't know how many undercover police officers any of those special branches ran, and how many of them targeted people involved in protest activities. But there's strong suspicions that some of them did.
I mean, there's a lot of evidence that there was a great number of informers and infiltrators and professional investigators who were used.
That's a separate thing, but yeah. But then it's also how much information came from those private people into the SDS or the NPRU, or how much went from the police to those people and to other companies involved in blacklisting. So there's a lot of stuff that could be explored. Unfortunately, Roger's only got another hour and 15 minutes or so until the lunch break. So I'm hoping he can cram in as much as possible.
I mean, it is a very strange approach by the inquiry to waste so much time in the very limited amount of time they've got with Roger Geffen before getting to the 5 years when there was an undercover police officer in the Reclaim the Streets campaign, which he was around for. It's very strange.
Well, I think maybe they've just realised that period of time does need coverage to give some kind of explanation.
I mean, why you need a witness for that, I would argue, is the question.
Because they haven't got witness statements, because they didn't make any disclosure to anyone.
Right, yeah. I mean, again, we come back to this issue.
Roger was never shown the stuff from Andy Coles, where Andy Coles claims to have been around when Earth First started in the UK.
He claims to have been
around the Reclaim the Streets office, which was in the same repurposed Dole office. And he was around some of the sort of same people that Roger was working with in those very early days, going to Twyford Down and organising minibuses and so on. But we haven't heard him mentioned by the inquiry at all today.
No, not at all. It's only a short break and we have to go back in soon. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm waiting to hear what happens next.
Yeah.
And also looking forward to this afternoon, because that's another whole section of information about Reclaim the Streets, which hasn't been brought to public attention yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully the sound is sorted out now. If people could let me know if the sound's working, if it sounds like Mickey Mouse still or not. I think I've sorted it out, but technical problems abound. But thanks for joining. We'll see you all again at lunchtime. Cheers for now.